Shalom Uvracha. Hello. Tzolai Tovim. Good afternoon. I am recording here live from Yerushalayim. Today is Tuesday, the 29th of Nisan, May 7th. And I would like to introduce myself and my new channel. This is a very exciting moment for me. I've been working and planning on doing this for a long time now. For many of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Tanelov. I live in Yerushalayim. And for a long time, I have been learning Torah, studying Torah, and doing what I love most, which is traveling and putting together groups and trips for women to explore the land through learning and experiencing. That's something I did for many, many years. And so I'm excited. I'm a bit anxious. I'm not so camera, I guess I'm camera shy. Back in the day when I used to do my trips and my groups and everything, we didn't even have WhatsApp back in the day. And then once we did, it was like already like a whole new thing. So I'm very excited. I'm very emotional. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to start what I've been working towards for many years now. I'll start out with saying that my channel is named ShlomZion. ShlomZion, the literal meaning is Shlom, the peace of Zion. Zion being here in Yerushalayim, Yer HaKodesh. And that's something we're all striving for, which is peace. ShlomZion also happens to be a queen who ruled in the second Bet HaMikdash, and she has an amazing legacy and history. She had 2 husbands, she had 2 children. She was an advisor to her first husband who had passed away, and then she got remarried and had 2 children. One of her kids became high priest. She put together the Sanhedrin together. She helped rebuild the courts. In the Talmud, it says that during her time, when of her ruling, the land was very prosperous. It would only rain on Friday night, so the workers during the week wouldn't have too much trouble. And that the wheat and the grains were huge and large, of gold and olives, and everything was very blessed. And they blessed that the days of Mashiach should be like the times when ShlomZion HaMalka ruled. And so I named it after that, in mind. Also, years ago, I had a fundraiser, a charity that I had began for orphans and widows in Yerushalayim, and I had named it ShlomZion. At the time, I didn't know about the Queen, and the way I got to that name is I took all our grandparents' names, the initials, and just lined it up and tried to come up with a name, and the name ShlomZion came up for the grandparents that had passed at the time. And so, forwarding many years later, I'm trying to recreate everything I've done in my lifetime, my short lifetime. Baruch Hashem, from my traveling, to the groups, to the workshops, and different activities. And I guess I'm going to begin with putting together a YouTube channel where I download all my shiurim, my classes. I'm going to start once a week, twice a week, where we dive into the Parashat HaShavua, which is like, I'd like to say it's like the CEO of the big production, big company, as you know, as if Hashem is the big boss, and there's a huge company, and the Parsha helps us go week by week with what we're dealing with and current events inside of us and outside of us. And we're going to tap in a little bit into the Haftorah, because the Haftorah is such an interesting part of the Tanakh. With the first 5 books, it's Moshe Rabbeinu Torat Hashem Tamima, Torat Hashem Emet, Torat Moshe Emet. It's situations that we work through as a nation or personally that different characters in the Torah had with Hashem, and Hashem literally told Moshe what to write, and he wrote down the 5 books. But then we have prophets, which is complete personal experiences of different prophets and what they went through at the time of the kings or whenever it is that they were around, whatever message they had to say. And tapping into that is being able to connect the puzzle, the big puzzle of what was, what is, and what will be, Bezat Hashem. And this way it's like almost like a Holy Flix, not a Netflix, where we can see last week's episode, in this week's episode, and in next week's episode, in our season finale, God willing, it should be with the coming of Mashiach. We're going to discuss a lot about the concept of Mashiach. No, I don't know who Mashiach is, but we can dive into the books, and together for the first time we're all here rediscovering, relearning things that we once knew or forgot or didn't know that even existed. I myself am always learning something new. As I was reviewing last night for tonight's shiur, I learned something completely new about Rabbi Akiva, and I laughed to myself, and I said, that's the point of what this center will be, ShlomZion Center, where our entire goal is to bring peace. And everyone might have a different opinion of what peace is, where the borders will be even as simple as a song. What might be a peaceful song to me is not a peaceful song to someone else. And so we should try to start praying for the Hashalom, the peace, the final peace, the real peace of Emet. And to get to Emet, we need to have justice, and to have justice, we need to have truth, and to have truth, we need to have knowledge. And we all come from different backgrounds. And myself, I grew up in a religious observant home. I was born in Israel. I had yeshiva education my whole life, and yet I'm still learning things that are fascinating my mind that I didn't learn in yeshiva. And there's so much that we could blame the principal and the menahelet and the teacher and our parents for misdiagnosing us and whatever it might be. And we all want change. So my belief is be the change, and learning and diving into Sfarim and books and history, and admitting that we don't know everything, and perhaps we skipped a few little stories here and there, and reconnect everything to see how we can make sense of everything that's going around us. And that's part of my mission and my goal that I want to accomplish. And with that, I'll be having bi-weekly programs where we work on the body, the mind, and the soul, the neshama. It's all connected. To be a spiritual person means to be taking care of our bodies as well. And also, when we're so involved physically, there's a spiritual part to it, and connecting and aligning it together is something so important in our generation. And so I'm going to create a program where once a week we have learning, and then once a week we have a little bit of learning, and then we dive into a hands-on program where we have either breathing, yoga, face yoga, healthy meals, exercises, taking a journal and learning how to recreate your story, going on small trips, and really being on the ground in the land and traveling and experiencing while we're either listening to music or having private time, meditation time, group time. Obviously, there's always food. We're Jews. And it's something that helps internalize Torah when you experience it. And so I'll be having different events going on, and Malava Malkas, and I'll be posting a lot of my road trips down the road to Har Zion, wherever David is, King David and King Solomon, because we want to reunite Malchut David Shlomo, and we're going to learn about that, and Mashiach ben Yosef, and Mashiach ben David, and Mashiach ben Ephraim, and Melech HaMashiach. And in the zchut of all the tzaddikim and all the Torah and all our great-grandparents and grandparents and all the people who have sacrificed their lives for us to have the opportunity to be here in these times, these exciting times. For some of us, it's anxious times with what is going on with the current events. So we are sensitive to that, and our goal is how to make a change and how not to let ever our nation to be destroyed like that, and ultimately to crown Hashem's glory, and for everything to connect in the physical and the material in the four corners of the world with all the tribes and all of Bnei Israel, in general, the entire world, because Hashem created the entire world and nothing is for nothing. There's more worlds than we know. We always hear about the next world, this world, the future world. We're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into Etz Chaim. We're going to dive into Rabbi Shimon and Baba Sali and a lot of the Torah of Rabbi Nachman, Sheskuto Egen Alenu, and a lot of the works of the Rebbe, of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who had the merit and the zchut to meet as a little girl. So I always say the Rebbe is my guardian angel, and in his merit, we should all have the Chabad in us, which is Chochmah Bina Dat, which is to think good, to speak good, and to do good. And we're going to speak about the process of doing that. We're going to go through different yortzites on the calendar of the tzaddikim. We have Lag BaOmer coming up, Rabbi Shimon, Bar Kochva, Rabbi Akiva. We have Shavuos coming up, which is the yortzeit of the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, and of course the birthday and the passing day of David HaMelech, which we all can agree that we love, and so are looking forward to dive into all the royal palace secrets and prophets and current events, and together to grow and learn. I'm here for the first time, like all of you, discovering new things every single day, and excited to share the things that I have learned. I've dedicated many hours and years into Torah and learning how to reread and rewrite. And I'm Israeli, I'm American, so I go back and forth sometimes with my communication and my language. I believe that till we don't have the ultimate Geulah with Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Ephraim, Melech HaMashiach, David HaMelech, the whole clubhouse, whatever all those things would be with the Kohanim, and other things that we don't know about, and till then there's no perfection. And so I always used to say, Ma'im Achronim Chova, on purpose I make things not perfect. It's never a perfect time to give birth. It's never a perfect time to die. It's always like, oh my God, it had to be exactly then. And it's never a perfect time for war. But it's always a perfect time to celebrate and rejoice and tap into new beginnings and new opportunities. So with the help of Hashem and in the zchus of the tzaddikim, I hope that I'm successful and we're successful together into journeying into new opportunities. I will be sending links. I will be having this on Zoom. I will be updating. I'm also going to have opportunities for people to do sponsorship in the memory of someone who has passed, or for dedication of a birthday, or refuah shlema, so we can keep the program going and the traveling and help others to be able to be part of this program who cannot afford it, and to be yachad, to connect from the four corners of the world. I'm very excited, and that's it. Thank you, and thank you for being part of it. And if you've come this far, like me, share me. I'm a little bit from the olden days, so this is a whole new world for me, and I know some of you are way more up to date with that, but I always say everyone stick to their lane. while you guys were doing that, I was doing other things. And while I was doing these things, you guys were doing other things. We all have our strengths. We all have our talents and our gifts. And we all have here something to share that someone else doesn't. The day that I was born, the day that you were born, is the day that Hashem decided that the universe cannot survive without us. And I believe that's a quote from Rabbi Nachman. And I'm excited. And so tonight I'm going to have my first shiur here. It is going to be for the zchut of all the people who have gotten hurt in this past period at the war, and for all the neshamas, all the children of Hashem, I like to call them the returners more than the hostages, so that vibration goes out, that they're returning home, they're coming back home. They should be safe and come home b'shalom and b'achdut. And in honor of all of Am Yisrael and B'nai Yisrael, that we should see each other together, reunite once again in harmony, in peace, in rachamim. Oh yeah, the point was, I lost myself for a second. Tonight is the Yortzeit of Yeshua ben Nun. He is one of the most fascinating characters in Tanakh. He had a few careers. He was the servant of Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the greatest leader of Am Yisrael, and he was also the one who led us into the country. He has an amazing story. He had 8 amazing children. He had a wonderful wife who was a story that's a wonder. And their children had prophets, Yirmiyahu and Cheskel, I believe, and Huldan and Via. So we're going to dive into that as we dive into Parashat Kedoshim, and we're going to try to piece everything together for the first time and move forward from there. So see you then.